Just 1 hour ago, the world of Genoa City fell into an unexpected and heartbreaking silence. Kyle Abbott, young, driven, complicated, and deeply human, passed away peacefully at his home. There were no flashing lights, no chaos, no dramatic final confrontation. Just stillness. Just the quiet end of a life that had always been anything but quiet. For those who knew Kyle, this feels unreal. He was never meant to leave like this. Kyle Abbott had always lived at the center of storms. Born into the powerful Abbott family, he carried both privilege and pressure in equal measure. From a young age, expectations wrapped around him like a second skin. He wasn't just Kyle, he was an Abbott. That name came with legacy, rivalry, and a history that often felt heavier than any one person should have to bear. Yet Kyle never stopped trying to define himself beyond it. He stumbled, yes. He made mistakes, sometimes big ones. He chased love in ways that hurt both himself and others. He fought battles that were as much internal as they were external. But through it all, there was something undeniably real about him. He wasn't perfect, and he never pretended to be. That's what made people care. In recent months, those closest to Kyle had noticed a change. The restless energy that once defined him had softened. He had begun to slow down, to reflect, to appreciate the quieter moments in life. Some say he had finally found a sense of peace, something that had always seemed just out of reach for him. And perhaps, in a way, he had. This morning, Kyle was at home. No drama, no audience, just the familiar walls that had witnessed so many chapters of his life. The details of his final moments are private, as they should be. What matters is that he was at peace. For someone who had spent so much of his life in emotional turmoil, that peace feels significant. It feels earned. The news spread quickly, as it always does. At first, disbelief. Then shock. Then the slow, heavy realization that this was real, that Kyle Abbott was truly gone. Phones began to ring. Messages flooded in. Friends, family, rivals, all united in a shared sense of loss. Because no matter how complicated things had been, Kyle mattered. To his family, he was more than just a son or a name in a legacy. He was laughter at the dinner table, heated arguments that always came from a place of passion, and moments of vulnerability that revealed the depth beneath his confident exterior. He loved fiercely, even when he didn't always know how to show it. To those who had loved him romantically, Kyle was unforgettable. His relationships were rarely simple, often intense, and sometimes messy, but they were always real. He gave his heart fully, even when it led to heartbreak. And in those connections, he left pieces of himself behind. To his friends, he was loyalty mixed with unpredictability. The kind of person who could frustrate you one moment and stand by you the next without hesitation. Kyle Abbott was never easy to define. And maybe that's the point. Life doesn't always give us neat, simple stories. Sometimes, it gives us people like Kyle, people who grow, who struggle, who fall and rise and fall again. People who are constantly evolving, constantly searching. People who remind us what it means to be human. His passing leaves behind more than just grief. It leaves questions. What could have been different? What might he have become if given more time? Those are the questions that linger when someone leaves too soon. Because Kyle was young, there was still so much ahead of him. More chances to make things right. More opportunities to build something lasting. More moments to share with the people who cared about him. That's what makes this loss feel so heavy. And yet, in the midst of that sadness, there is something else, something quieter, but just as powerful. Gratitude. Gratitude for the moments he did have. For the growth he showed. For the memories he created, even if they were imperfect. Because those memories don't disappear. They stay. They live on in the stories people tell, in the lessons he left behind, and in the impact he had on those who knew him. Kyle Abbott may be gone, but the mark he left on Genoa City, and on the lives intertwined with his, remains. In the hours and days to come, there will be tributes. There will be tears. There will be attempts to make sense of a loss that doesn't quite make sense. But for now, there is just this moment. A quiet house. A life that has come to an end. And a city that feels a little less alive without him. Kyle Abbott's story wasn't perfect. It wasn't always easy. But it was real. And in the end, that's what matters most. He lived. He loved. He tried. And now, he rests. Gone, but not forgotten.